This episode of Brains on Games, we'll talk about a set collecting game with baby tigers. Welcome to Brains on Games. I'm Dr. Brian McDonald, and this episode we are going to talk about a set collecting game where players are going to play as baby tigers who are trying to earn their stripes by capturing prey in the jungle. It is a game that was sent to me a little while ago by the folks over at Flying Meeple, a game called Tiger Stripes, the card game. This is a game that works with kids age 7 and up. You can play with between 2 and 4 players, and games last only about 15 minutes. Let's take a look at Tiger Stripes, the card game. Tiger Stripes, the card game is light in terms of its complexity. It's a great introduction, I think, to the set collecting and drafting kinds of mechanics that we see in more complicated games. Inside the box, you'll get, of course, the rule book. There are 4 player cards with tigers on them. There's 28 tiger stripes. The goal of the game, you win by earning 7 stripes. So each player needs to have 7 of these tokens. And there's a deck of cards that includes both tigers and prey cards. So you've got tigers with gems on the side. Those gems are very important when you're playing the game. And then you've got 4 kinds of prey. I had to think about it for a second. You've got deer and monkeys and snakes and boars. Now, one of the things you might be able to see, maybe you can see it on the camera, maybe not, but each of the prey cards has a little tiger hiding in the background. You can see the tiger is stalking its prey. So the baby tigers are trying to be the first to earn those 7 stripes by capturing snakes or monkeys or deer or boar. You're going to start the game of Tiger Stripes with each player choosing a tiger from those 4 that I showed you earlier. And on the back of those cards, you can see the tiger has all of its stripes. But when you flip it over to the play side, the tiger doesn't have any stripes at all. You're trying to earn those stripes in the game. Each player is going to have 7 of those stripe tokens and 2 cards. They begin with 2 cards in their hand. The jungle is composed of 5 cards. You just draw out 5 cards from the deck, and these are the face-up cards that you have to choose from when you're taking your turn. During your turn, you can do one of 3 things. You can draft a tiger from the jungle, and that's just taking one of those cards into your hand. You can play multiple cards, and by matching the gems on the top left-hand corner of your card, you can collect multiple prey cards from the jungle. So if I had a tiger like this one, say, who's got 2 white gems and 2 yellow ones, but there's not too many that I could collect here. I would need also, to get this deer, I would need 2 of those white gems and a green one. So if I have another card in my hand with a green gem in the corner, I could grab that prey. So you can either grab 1 tiger, you might grab multiple prey if you have enough cards with enough gems to pull multiple cards into your hand, or you can draw a card from the deck. So one of these face down cards, you don't know what you're going to get. You always hide your cards from your opponent, and there's no hand size limit, so you don't have to do any hand management in this game. Once you've done your action, well, the next thing that you can do is turn in your prey cards. So if you have 3 of a kind, 3 deer or 3 boar or 3 monkeys or 3 snakes, you can discard those and you get that number of stripes, the number of stripes that are located down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the card. So a set of 3 deer will give you 3 stripes that you can put on your tiger card. Now you can either turn in 3 of a kind, or you can use one of these tigers as a wild card, which is great for earning those victory points, but the tigers are so good at getting more of those gems so that you can collect the prey cards that it can be a bit tempting to hang on to them a little bit longer rather than using them as wild cards when you discard for stripes. What you're doing in this game, it's very simple set collection. That's the first mechanism. If you want this boar, you want to have 3 boars. You want to collect 3 of them. You want to collect 3 deer or 3 snakes, and you do that by collecting gems and then discarding them. You are also doing that drafting of choosing one of these 5 cards from down here in the jungle, or you might just choose to draw a card from the deck instead. But that was sort of the last resort. Whenever we played, we wanted to know what we were getting so that we could work towards something. And that's the first skill that I wanted to talk about in terms of this this game, you are doing a little bit of planning ahead and you're debating which cards you're going to keep and which ones you're going to discard to earn points. And if you are thinking ahead and working towards a goal of getting three of those boar cards, for example, which is a hard one to get because they all require so many gems, then you are exercising those executive functioning skills, the skills that you need to be able to work towards a future goal. Anytime you're thinking ahead and planning ahead or tackling something in an organized way, or you have a goal in mind and you're working towards it, those are all examples of executive functioning skills. And this game really does pare things down so that it's simple enough that kids are practicing those abilities, but they're not focused on too many things all at once. I mean, which is why you can play it with kids as young as 7 years old. I will tell you that when we played this game with my 18-year-old son, I expected that we would just knock this one out in 5 or 10 minutes in terms of our first try of the game, but he did spend some time analyzing the cards in his hand and really thinking about what he wanted to play. So it sucked in even older kids, both with the artwork and the theme and that set collection mechanic. The other skill you might be thinking about, there's a little bit of math involved here, not so much calculations, although you are looking at the gems that you're discarding in order to hopefully collect more than one card from the jungle. So there's a little bit of calculation there in terms of managing those resources. But there's also the balance that you're choosing between do I want to collect and get 4 points for these three boar, but to do that, I've got to have 4 gems for each of them. So I might have to discard 12 gems by the time I'm done. The other player might be just trying to collect multiple sets of snakes that are worth 2 points, or collect a bunch of monkeys that are only worth one, but they're so fast to collect, the monkeys only require 1 gem to grab them. So you can discard 3 monkeys in faster than the time it would take you to get 3 of those boar, unless you're lucky enough to draw them from the deck. So there is some management of probability and some management of resources that involves a little bit of math skills, but nothing too complicated. Final thoughts about Tiger Stripes, the card game. Well, this I think is a good introduction to those mechanics of set collection and drafting, because you've only got that jungle of 5 cards to choose from. You're trying to get 3 of a kind, but there's only 4 different sets that you're trying to collect. Spending and earning enough gems to collect those cards is probably the most complex part of the game. But for new players, for young players, it pares things down enough to really get to the core of those mechanics, and it keeps things simple yet still engaging. My teenage son, he kept at it, and he thought he was thinking about his cards. And like I said, I thought this would be one that he would just sort of I'd have to force him a little bit to play it, but he quite enjoyed this one. The artwork is appealing. There's a quick play time. We knocked out 3 or 4 games in under an hour, so it worked out quite well, even when we were first learning how to play the game. So if you enjoy set collecting, or that's a kind of experience that you want to share with your kids or your family, with new gamers who haven't played these kinds of game before, if you like that animal theme of hunting through the jungle and trying to earn your stripes, then this might be the game for you. If you have any questions or comments about Tiger Stripes or anything else to do with Brains on Games, you can leave them in the comments section below the video, or you can email me at brian@brainsongames.ca. Brainsongames.ca is the website. That's where future episodes will go, and the previous ones are up there already. Brains on Games is the Twitter handle and the Facebook page and the Instagram feed, so we're all over the place. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to be notified of future ones, you can head on over to YouTube and click that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you next time.